Hello everyone and welcome to a promotional review for the game Cake Bash. So this was released on the 15th of October 2020. The developer is Hi T Frog and the publisher is Coatsink, which I want to thank for providing me a code for this game to review. So first off, I want to say that this game is an absolute bunch of fun. I would overall rate this game a 7.8 out of 10, and I will explain why. I feel that it needs a little bit more on the online side in terms of rewards, and I feel like the AI in this game can be a little bit too much sometimes, and sometimes they can feel like they do barely anything at all. So the difficulty spike can certainly increase in some of the game modes that I've played. So in this video, this is actually a full run through of just playing against the AI in the game and showing off all the different games that I did play. The achievements for it are overall okay. It seems to be quite an easy completion. It's going to require you to do multiple different run-throughs though, and it's also going to require you to do like specific game modes to get the achievements for them, as I believe each one has its own sort of specific achievement. I do manage to get the one for the ice cream scoops in this video, and I really enjoyed that. You just have to like move left and right and make sure that your scoops don't topple over, and you have to collect more and more. I think you need 10 in a row. And you'll get the achievement for stacking 10 scoops. So overall, this is actually a really fun game. It's supposed to be sort of an online or co-op based game with other people, but as I was doing this is the purpose of a promotional review, this is just going to be me playing against the bots. So you can actually play online with your friends on this, which I found absolutely amazing, which is why I've given it such a high score. I will go over the things I feel that need improving in the game, but overall, absolute bunch of fun if you want to play co-op couch with this. Also a bunch of fun with multiple people, with multiple controllers, and a really fun time. So this one is a bit on the expensive side. It's £16.74 currently in the UK, but it's definitely worth it for the price. I think the game modes that there is and the difficulty for the achievements isn't that bad. It's going to require you to keep on doing some of the game modes over and over again to get the timing down for some of them, especially the campfire one where you have to roast marshmallows. That one seems to be tough for me to try and do. You have to get 100 score 3 times for the marshmallows. So you have to roast them to the perfect amount and then stop roasting them, and it'll put it on top of your cake, which is the entire point of the game. You have to keep adding more and more sweets on top of the cakes, and it will increase your score at the end of the game. And once you get a score at the end of the game, if you become first, you probably could get first, because if you combine 3 of the same sweets on top of your cake, you will actually increase your score for that specific sweet. And there's achievements for getting all the different types of sweets in the game, and it's going to require you to get 3 of every type, I believe, for most of them anyway. And besides that, the game modes themselves are really fun. There seems to be nothing wrong with them in my opinion. The difficulty spike of this one wasn't too bad as the first game that I played. I actually really enjoyed it. The timer, I think it's 2 minutes for these ones for the bashes, and there are other different types of bashes as well that you do play. But you will thoroughly enjoy this if you do go ahead and pick it up. It's definitely worth the money in my opinion. And overall, I think the only things I felt that needed to be improved was that you could change some of the settings around for different things. So going for the achievement for getting the campfire one, if you could change the timing maybe and have longer time if you're just playing that specific game mode with multiple controllers to try and get that achievement, that would massively help, especially with some of the other ones as well. You could also maybe change the difficulty in the AI instead of having it at one set difficulty all of the time. So it's not too bad. Just go ahead and keep playing, and I'm sure that you'll be able to get the completion for this relatively easily, as I was able to play this on the release day was such a blessing. And I do want to thank the developer and publisher for providing me a code for this, as I found it an absolute bunch of fun to play it and would recommend this to anyone to play it. Like I said, the only things that I feel that need to be changed are those very few things, and it seems to be about 20 minutes a game if you're just doing a full complete game of it against the AI, or even online with your friends, or even on local co-op. So it's about a 20-minute game. It's not so bad, and you will thoroughly enjoy it, I am sure, as much as I did. The game modes do vary out throughout the whole thing, and you do get a choice in which ones you want to play. So if you do get the hang of knowing which ones you're about to play, and you need to go for specific achievements whilst you're getting the sweets, you can go ahead and choose the game mode if you've got multiple controllers and easily get the achievements for this. Some of them are a little challenging, some of them are very easy, but overall I feel like most people would be able to get the completion for this. You can change the cupcake that you have and things in your collection menu, so collecting all the different sweets and all the different types of cake and finishing all the different types of game modes and getting all the scores and stuff. There's all sorts of different challenges throughout the entire game. The gameplay works really well for this. There's barely anything I need to say that needs improving, as it seems to be perfect besides the timing changes and any other settings that potentially could be added to make things a little bit easier. Another thing I feel is when you go ahead and try and purchase some of these sweets, you have to be extremely fast after the rounds, as the AI seem to get there before you, and if there's a specific sweet that you want to collect, it can be a bit of a pain if the AI have already picked it up and there's a specific sweet that you're trying to get, as they literally get it in a split second, the second that the shop becomes available for you to try and get the sweet. So you have to be fast. The only other way I would suggest playing this is with multiple controllers, so you have the free choice to get those sweets that you need. There's multiple different times throughout the game that you can collect the sweets as well. It's not just once, you do get one at the end as well. So if you do want to go and collect as many coins as possible, then try and get the ones you need right at the end. But there is a time limit, so try and be wary. That could also be improved on. Also, the time limit of the time to pick the sweets that you want, that could be changed. There seems to be a lot of different settings that need to be added to make this an absolute amazing game overall. But as it stands now, I'm sticking with my score that I've gave it. The maps for this game could also be another improvement as well, as adding more maps would be extremely cool to see different areas and different maybe parts of the kitchen and the shop that you're in would be extremely cool. I do know that they've made it specifically so you can play on those specific levels, as there are like multiple maps, but if there are different maps that you could choose for those game modes as well, that would further improve it for me. Modifiers could also be added so that you could specifically only use the stronger attack rather than just the weak attack only, as that would make the achievements also a lot easier to get, certainly for the more casual audience, and it's going to be much needed if you're trying to go for the completion. Loading times are relatively short as well, which I really enjoyed, as it didn't really require a lot of waiting around for levels to load. It was extremely quick and relatively easy to follow. The weapons in the game that you can pick up and hit each other with, I found them hilarious. Some of them that you could pick up like a screwdriver and just whack one of the other cakes over the head with it, and all of their sweets would either spill out or they would become unconscious for like a couple of seconds and not be able to move, which gave you a bit of an advantage. And maybe that modifier could be added to change the time that it takes for them to come back around and that sort of thing. But besides that, relatively enjoyed this game. Really wanted to give a big shout out to the dev for this one, and I also wanted to thank you all very much for watching this video. There's going to be more promos on the channel, guys. If you enjoy these types of videos, or you want me to make any sort of guides for this game or any other games, go ahead and let me know down in the comment section below, and I will get back to you whether or not I can go ahead and make any guides for you to help improve your gamer score or your trophies. But we are actually coming up to the level where I unlocked the achievement for what was called the Big Scoop by collecting 10 in a row. Another thing that could be improved upon would be the amount of points that you can gain from collecting the sweets throughout the levels, as that would extremely improve the game for me, knowing how many points that I'm able to collect and knowing where I'm going to be standing in terms of the leaderboard at the end of the game, as you don't really get any inkling as to how many points you get for collecting 3 of the sweets. You kind of get the gist of what you're going to collect after you've already purchased it, so knowing what points you get beforehand would extremely help. And obviously the ones that are going to be more expensive are going to give you more points, but knowing how much they actually are going to give you beforehand would help improve the game even further, in my opinion. If you're going ahead and playing against your friends, then knowing how many points you get beforehand would help immensely to me, I'm sure, and others. But besides everything I have mentioned, the game is overall fantastic. There is a couple of things that I've said that needs to be improved upon, and that would improve the score for me for the game. And although this is a new title and is actually going to be released on the Xbox Series S and X, the load times on that will be extremely fast, I'm sure, as I'm playing on a 1X right now and it's super fast for me, so it's going to be absolute overkill and there'll be no loading times whatsoever, as I barely felt there was any on the 1X. And I am going to leave it there. So Again, I want to thank you all very much for watching. This has been a promotional review for the game Cake Bash, and I'll see you all in the next one.